All right, so by my clock, we have 1 p.m. and I think that it is time for us to kick off our virtual farm tour. My name is Michaela Mitchell and I work on behalf of dairy farmers in the Southeast, connecting you to dairy's delicious nutrition. We have folks joining us with their class via Zoom and at home over Facebook Live. However, you're connecting with us today, we want you to know we are so glad that you're here and we want to hear from you. So please ask your questions as we go along. We'll get to as many as we can. If you're with us on Zoom, you can put your questions in the Q&A tab. And if you're with us from Facebook Live, you can drop those right in the comments section. Now today, we're at Harmonyway Dairy in Niota, Tennessee, and you are in for such a treat because your dairy farmer and tour guide today, Riley Mason, is going to give you the behind the scenes look at how their dairy farm operates, including how they use robots to keep the cows happy and well cared for. Riley, can you say hello and tell us a little bit about your farm?
Yeah, hey everybody. So as I said before, I am Riley Mason and welcome to my farm. This is my family farm. I'm the sixth generation to farm here. And a little bore y'all with a little bit of history of the farm here for a few seconds. Is we started in 1902. We started milking in a flat barn, so we had to actually bend over and manually milk the cows every day, twice a day. And then we upgraded to a double four, swinging four. And again, we had to bend over. And then we dug a pit and did a double four herringbone. So we got to milk 8 cows at a time, 4 on each side. And then a little bit more time passed, and we actually upgraded to a double 5 herringbone with a pit. So we milked 10 cows at a time, 5 on each side. Then my dad and I started talking about robots that time. We had some trouble with some employees. We couldn't get anybody to milk the cows, being so labor intensive. And at that point, we had 5 employees working on the farm. And we really wanted to downsize a little bit with that. And we talked about robots, and I did an internship in Illinois, and we decided we were going to do it. And so Dad and I and my grandmother, we put in 3 deal robots here on the farm to milk our 160 dairy cows here. We milk Holsteins, and we raise our own corn silage and everything here. So yeah, let's check it out.
Wow, that's great. Incredible. 6 generations on the farm. And we just all feel so honored to be able to come and tour that with you today. Now, I know everyone out there watching, they're all so anxious to meet the calves because the calves are the babies and they're the future of your farm. They're so cute, and you all are going to learn how Riley and his team takes care of them. So Riley, you go ahead and make your way, and you'll be able to introduce us to the calves in just a moment. All right, we'll see you on the flip side.
Sounds great.
Okay, awesome. Now, for you guys out there joining us over Zoom or Facebook Live, we actually have some dairy cow fun facts to share with you while Riley's making his way. And here they are, the dairy cow fun facts. So much fun. So since you're curious about cows, let's take a look at these. It turns out that cows don't know what color their barn is because cows are red-green colorblind. In fact, highly contrasting colors can startle the cows. I never knew that before. Also, cows can hear better than humans. They hear both the lower and the higher frequencies than the farmers who care for them. So that's pretty cool. Cows also have an incredible sense of smell, and they can detect smells up to 6 miles away. So if you're cooking something for dinner, chances are the local cows know what you're having. Also, a Holstein's spots are like a fingerprint, which means their spots are unique to them and them alone. 2 cows will never have the same pattern of spots as one another. And then finally, you and I may need 8 hours of more or sleep each night, but cows can get by on about half of that and usually only sleep for about 4 hours in the day. So those are some pretty cool dairy fun facts, and it looks like Riley has made his way to the calves. So I want to go ahead and transition over there now. Riley, take it away.
For sure. So welcome to our calf barn. So this is actually not our calf barn permanently. We're in the process of building a nice new calf barn. This is actually our old facility where we used to milk the cows, which I talked about earlier. This is our old freestall barn we used to milk in, but now we convert it to a calf barn while we're in the construction process. But yeah, so this is where the calves live, and through here they are born in a straw bedded pack up in the robot barn, which we will get to look at in a few minutes. And they're born there. The cow is taken to the robot number 1, and the robot then milks the cow, gets the colostrum out of the mama. It's got lots of colostrum, is basically a thicker milk, just a little discolored. It's got lots of antibodies and good stuff in there to make the calf nice and healthy in its early time of its life. And we take that for about 3 days, and we feed that to the babies. And then after it has 3 days of colostrum, we then transfer it over to a powdered milk ration, which we mix here on the farm. And once we mix it up, we feed them twice a day, once at about 5:30 in the morning, and then about 5 o'clock in the evening they get fed. And this one here is wanting to be fed right now. But hey, we're going to mix up some milk here actually and feed a calf right here so y'all can see it done. But as I feed this one right here, she latches on.
Oh, that's great. It looks like she's going to work on that milk bottle there. Tell us about the tag that's in the calf's ear.
Yes, so each baby has 2 tags in their ear. So each calf here, we do not have an actual name for the calf. We actually have a number, which the number is its name. On this tag, we have its mama's number, and then its number, and then her birth date on the back, and then her dad's number also. This just helps keep good track of who's who, and in the breeding process later in life.
Sure.
Yeah, but we take them down here as soon as they're born. We take them down here. This is where they will stay when they get their mama's milk. They switch over to powder, and then once they eat here, they will stay here for about 2 months. And then during that 2-month process, they will drink milk out of the bottle. When we get to about a month and a half, we switch them over to a bucket. When we switch them over to the bucket, we actually put them in a group of 3 to 5 calves, and that helps them play and get to know each other. But the reason why we keep them separate in its own hutch for that short period of time, those 2 weeks or even a month, up to a month, is a calf is much more likely to get sick during this time. So we try to keep a good eye on her. We look at her close twice a day. We look at her stool twice a day, and her body weight and her actions. And we try to keep a good eye on her to give her the best health possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that, yeah, that really helps. So we actually do have a couple of questions, and Tracy would like to know, how old is the calf?
This calf here is about 2 weeks old, a week and a half. So she's still really, really new.
Okay.
During this time also, they get fed some grain, and they also get some water. And then when they get about 2 months old, when they're in the pen, the 3 to 5, which I was talking about earlier, we start putting them on a grower feed, and they get pulled off milk once a day rather than getting fed twice a day. And they're 2 months, 1 week old, we pull them off milk entirely. And that's when we put them in a different group a little bit further down the way there. And we put them in a group of 5 to 6. And 5 to 6, we grow them together. And they normally stay together their entire life, all the way up until they're in the robot. So just like y'all in school, y'all grow up together. It's the same here with the calves. We try to get them getting little cliques, and they hang out together, and they find each other in the barn all the time. It's really, really funny. But anyway, once they get off of, what was that?
I just said, I love that. That sounds fun. Cow click. I want one.
And then after they get off the milk completely, we move them down a pen one more down the way there. And that's when they will stay until they're about 4 months old. And when they're 4 months old, we then move them to pasture. And then they stay in the first pasture till they're about 1 year old. And that's when we actually start breeding on the cows. And then they will actually have their first baby when they are 2 years old. I know that sounds crazy, but cows mature much faster than us humans. They actually had their baby 24 months or 2 months old, or 2 years old.
Okay. Hey, great. Hey, we have another question here. And so the question is, how did the calf get so big in just a week? So maybe if you could tell us a little bit about the size that a calf is when it's born, how much it weighs.
For sure. So when they're born, they're actually pretty big. So this one actually is not too much bigger than when she was born. They're about 150 to 100 pounds. And this one here, I'd say, is just about 150 pounds right now. They're not, they're born actually pretty big. You might think that a little bitty baby, really small, but a Holstein dairy cow around here weighs pretty heavy when they're born.
Okay, so yeah, so the baby when it's born is close to 100 pounds, and then I know later we'll find out more about the grown-up ones. Someone would like to know, how many calves do you have on your farm?
So we have about 75 to 100 calves a year here, heifers, and then that's how many calves we have. We raise them here, and when they come back to the barn, they'll have a baby back in the barn again and raise their
Okay,
baby as well.
okay, and Mary Ellen would like to know, how long do cows live?
So here we have a few older ones in the barn, but right now average I'd say I live about 10 years old. We've got quite a few older ones, but we got some younger ones as well. But I say live about 10 years here on our farm. I would say
Okay,
every farm is different.
and another question, the attendees would like to know, do cows sleep standing up?
They often do. It's really funny. You'll notice in the robot barn when they just hang out in there all day long and they're just doing their own thing. We actually don't mess with them all day long. You'll see them often just sitting there, just eyes closed, just head down, just standing up in one spot. Really funny. It's kind of funny to walk through and see a cow like that.
Aw. That's great. Well, Riley, this has been so much fun. And I know we could stay with these calves all day long, but we need to move along in our tour. So Riley, we're actually going to let you go ahead and make your way to the barn now. And we will look forward to seeing how the milking cows spend their time over there.
Sounds good.
All right. But first, for all of you at home and over Zoom, I would like for you to be able to hear from the cow's nutritionist. That's right. The cows have their own nutritionist. Cows spend about 8 hours a day eating and digesting their food, and it's a big job to plan for their diets. So go ahead and watch this farm's cow nutritionist explain what all goes into this process.
Good morning, I'm Rick Barham, work for Ag Central Farmers Co-op, and I do nutritional and farm consulting work for the co-op. And I'm with Matt Mason and his son Riley, and I'm going to go over a few basic things that I do when I come to the farm. If you look at the basic things that we do is we take those silages or those forages and mix grain with them, and it comes up to a proper diet for the cows. And that's what I do, is try to balance the cows' nutritional needs of the grain along with the forages that they grow on the farm. We try for milk production along with super healthy cows that are happy cows. One of the important things that we look at is moisture of the diet. A cow likes to have a moist diet, and I do that when I come to the farm. We kind of check moisture. It's sometimes Riley and Matt may even add water to the diet. Just something as simple as water, because the cow's need is for water. Certainly milk is made up of a lot of water. The grain is manufactured and purchased through the co-op that I work for. We try to do a pellet in the barn and a meal feed outside to mix with the silages. The meal feed is generally a higher protein feed outside that we do here in the bunk, is what I call the TMR bunk. And the balance of the two, I have to use the pellet plus this to balance up the diet to try to do the best we can for the cow.
All right, very cool. So that was a great video. And I am a dietitian. Now, I've never planned a cow's diet, but I do help people try to eat their best. So I always find it very interesting to talk about what the cows are eating. And so actually, I'm not sure how to say his name. It might be Cohen, age 6. He would like for Riley to tell all of you what the cows do when it rains and what they eat and how big they can get. So Riley, just, take it away. Tell us all about it.
All right, cool. So I'll start off with how big they get. So on our farm, every farm, ranges. On our farm, they average about 1,200 to 1,300 pounds, which is pretty heavy from the little babies. They grow pretty quick in those 2 years and the rest of his life. And what they eat every day, so we have actually 4 different rations on the farm here. The first ration being the pre-fresh, so the cows are almost ready to have a baby. We actually feed them a little different feed to get them prepared to have a calf. We feed them corn silage, just regular corn silage, nothing mixed in other than a little bit of a pellet on top to help prepare their bodies to have a baby. And then we have the dry cows here, which is basically just our cows on vacation. And you're seeing a cow actually right there. I'll talk about. She's licking on a salt block. You can't add salt as we add salt to our meals. It might taste a little better. We actually put a salt block down for the cows to lick on, and they love those salt blocks so much. It tastes so good. But anyway, we have the dry cows here, which is the second ration. And then the dry cows, we have a straw based with some corn silage and some grain. And what I mean by dry cow and how they're on vacation, I know you're thinking, what in the world? Well, when you breed a cow and she becomes pregnant, we try to get them bred back as fast as possible. And right before they're about to have their baby, about 2 months prior, 60 days, we put them here on vacation. And when they come here, they do not have to milk. They do not have to do anything they don't want to do. They can lay down, they can eat, they can just do whatever they want all day long and have no reason they have no job to do. They just can chillax, lay on the beach, so to speak. But in this group here, we have some foam mattresses that they lay down on. So they're laying on a better mattress than I am right now. They actually have 2 inches of foam, and underneath is some rubber pellet, and the mattresses are just super comfortable. We put a little bit of sawdust down right on the top of them, which is what you're seeing on top. All that does is just keep a nice dry bed so it doesn't get any wetness on them. And finally, for that question, I think I touched on all of it, is the rain. As the cows actually stay here in the barn while it rains, they do not get wet at all. They stay here in the barn and they don't worry about the rain or snow or whatever. They just chill out here and whatever weather it throws at us.
I mean, they really like the barn, right? Because you've put a lot of things in the barn to make it just a very happy place for them.
Oh, for sure. Yes, they are very happy. The cows on vacation, I think they get bored personally because you see them just licking on everything, just hanging out, just always anything out of the ordinary. They're coming and checking it out. I think a cow likes to milk better than when she's on vacation. Seems they act better and everything just works out better when they're actually in the milking herd, which we'll check out in just a few seconds.
It looks like there's some giant fans hanging from the ceiling. Can you tell us about those?
For sure. So I'll talk about the new barn here. So we were in the old barn earlier. So this is the new, we call this a tunnel ventilated barn. So it has 3 walls, and the back wall will be open and the middle wall or the far wall will be closed. And it's got 24 fans in the barn, 4-foot fans. So they're really, really big. And it's actually sucking air through the barn. So right now, I don't know if you can hear it on my microphone or not, there's actually a 5-mile-an-hour breeze just coming through the barn here. Now, to me, I'm freezing cold today on a day like today, but the cows, they love it. I mean, you can see they're just super comfortable in here. I actually do not have all the fans on today just because of how cool it is today. I just have about 12 fans on today. But on a super hot summer day, if I have all 24 fans on, you can get it really blowing through here. It is really breezy. Those cows really like it nice and cool.
They do. They really like the cold weather. Hey, we have got a question from Miss Henderson's class. They want to know, do the cows need to see the dentist?
Say that one more time.
Miss Henderson's class would like to know if the cows ever need to see the dentist.
No, they do not actually. They do not see a dentist. However, I will say they do see a foot trimmer. So they get pedicures. I actually do it myself here on the farm. We try to do it once a lactation. We trim their feet so they get a nice pedicure about once a year. pretty funny. People think, what, a pedicure? But for sure, we just trim those toenails and make them look nice and pretty and help them walk the best possible way we can.
Wow, I need to come up there myself. Hey, we have another question from Miss Truitt's class, and they want to know, how many stomachs does a cow have?
I'm so sorry. Say that one more time.
How many
stomachs. They actually have 4 stomachs. So you'll see a cow here. She's just chewing away at the food that she's eating now, but she'll actually go lay down and she'll actually chew her cud later to go to the other 4 stomachs. The cow is designed so well, and she can chew that cud. If she's chewing the cud, she's very happy. A happy cow. That's what you want. That's what you look for.
All right. Well, Riley, this has been super duper informative. And I know now that everyone is very anxious to see the robots in action with the cows.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we're going to do it. So, you guys out there watching, there's a lot of technology involved on this farm, and the robots that do the milking eat up all of the Wi-Fi and make our connections drop. So we do not want to lose you all today. So we actually have a video of the robots in action, and we're going to let you take a look at that so you can see how the robots keep the cows happy. Let's go ahead, and Riley will catch you on the flip side. Okay?
Sounds good.
So today we have a GoPro around a cow's neck to show a cow's point of view of walking through our family farm. So as you see here, she's walking through the sort gate. It IDs her with the chip in her left ear, identifies her to milk, opens up the left gate, opens up so she can walk straight to the robot. She will wait here until the robot is ready to milk her. So as a cow walks into the robot, again, her left ear tag will be identified in the robot, and it starts milking her by, number 1, cleaning the teats. Each and individual teat is cleaned with a peroxide-based mix, warm water, and a twisting motion of air to make sure it is a clean, dry teat once the robot is able to milk her. So after each individual quarter is cleaned, we have a clean, dry teat that the robot now attaches the milking machine to. Each individual quarter is milked out separately, and the milk is tested, and if anything is out of the ordinary, it'll send me a notification to my phone so I can give the cow the best health possible as soon as possible. And once the quarter has been milked out entirely, the robot will pull the quarter off after cutting the vacuum off. Each teat is sprayed with iodine, and then robot camera is washed off along with each teat cup. The cow exits and the next cow is ready to be milked.
Okay, that was very cool. Very good to see the robots. So Riley, do you just want to expand at all on that process for us? Tell us a little bit more about maybe, how many times a cow might choose to milk in a day?
For sure, for sure. So I really hate we couldn't go in there, but just part of technology. One day, maybe y'all could come and visit in real life. So basically, when a cow milks herself during the day, we do not go and fetch the cows, but twice a day. And most of the time, if we have to go fetch a cow or go see if she needs to be milked, we just get her up and walk to the robot. Most of the time, it's not because she needs to be milked, it's because she's got some other issue with her body. Maybe her feet need to be trimmed, or she's not feeling too good. She just needs a little more attention. But on average, our cows do get milked here 3 times a day on their own. And yeah, that's pretty much what happens in the robot there. But once the cow is milked there in the robot, she gets a little robot pellet. We didn't really talk about that on the video. She gets a little caramel candy bar for coming the robot. I'm sure y'all are thinking, cows surely can't milk themselves. You got to be kidding me. But no, they definitely do. So we have a controlled flow barn, and I don't know if you saw in that first video with the GoPro and the cow. The cow has to go through those sort gates in order to get to the next place where she needs to go. So there's like 3 groups in one robot group. We have a spot where she can eat her meat and potatoes per se, which is corn silage and some TMR mix, which is like some yeast and bicarb and some corn and whatnot, mixed in with some haylage, some wheat haylage. That's the meat and potatoes. And then she gets a little caramel candy bar in the robot. So when they get to the robot, they're all really excited and really just pushing each other out of the way, just trying to get in and get that caramel candy bar. But that's how we get them to come to the robot on their own, and that's how they get through there anyway.
Yeah, so far I'm hearing that the cows have a buffet at all times.
That is right, yes.
Get pedicures, regular pedicures, and now candy bars for coming in and milking.
I'm telling you, it's a different world, isn't it? They're getting treated better than I do, and they sleep on those foam mattresses too.
Yeah, they are living the life. So it sounds like really that the robots and the cows and you, like all of you together, really make a great team, because ultimately all of these things keep the cows happy, and it keeps them producing the most milk and the best quality milk. So tell us about how much milk will one of your cows produce in a day?
For sure, for sure. My grandma, my dad, and I work at a really good team to get everything done here for sure. So basically a cow here milks about 75 pounds a day, and a cow actually weighs, or not a cow, but a gallon of milk actually weighs about 8 pounds. So that's a lot of milk, isn't it? One cow given. But anyway, in the robot, milks are out in the robot. It ships it over here through this pipe here and goes through a filter. When it comes through the filter, it actually goes to the bottom of the tank, and it's bottom filled, and it is cooled down to 38 degrees. And so we try to keep that cooled down so it doesn't spoil.
Yeah, that makes sense. So this room that you're in now, this is called the tank room. Is that right? And
yes, I'm sorry, I didn't even say that. Yes, ma'am.
No,
This
no,
is the tank room. So yeah, this is where the milk is stored and kept. And our milk truck driver comes and picks up our milk every other day here, and takes our milk 8 miles down the road to the Mayfield plant. Kind of walk through the process of what he does. He comes in here, backs his milk truck up down the road here, down the driveway, puts his pipe down from his tank into the hose here, hooks it up, and he'll walk over to the computer screen and he'll click this button over here that says the truck's here. And when he clicks this button, it'll begin to flash. And when it flashes, all the robot does is give me a phone call, and it says, "Hey, Riley, the milk truck driver's here." So it then stops milking the cows. It'll milk the 3 cows that are in the 3 robots. It pumps the milk over to the tank, and then it'll begin its washing. So the robots will wash then, and then after he pumps out all the milk out of the tank, then the tank will begin to wash. So after you get done wash the tank and wash the robots, and I'll be in there scrubbing on the outside of the robots, keep them nice and clean, and keep that bowl where the candy bar is kept nice and clean. We can begin milking in about 45 minutes to an hour after it's all done cleaning.
okay, wow. And so how often does that truck come to your farm?
He comes every other day.
Okay. Okay. And so this truck, it comes to your farm, and does it make stops at other farms as well?
It does. So it actually stops at a neighbor farm here. It picks up here at our farm first. He gets here about 8:15 in the morning. Then he goes to a neighbor farm. When he goes to neighbor farm, he has a full semi truckload, and then he unloads at the plant. Then he goes home for the day.
Okay. And that's really how we get our ice cream. So,
That's exactly right.
Speaking of which, what is your favorite dairy food out of all the dairy foods that you could choose from? What's your favorite one to eat?
Oh man, I'm a classic guy. I'd have to say whole milk, whole Mayfield's milk. Man, you can eat it for dinner. You can eat it. You can dip it in your cookies. You can have it on anything. I love whole Mayfield's milk. Has got to be my favorite.
That is great. And I think it's a great choice to always, all of these kids here know, My Plate recommends always drink milk with your meals. So that's going to be a great choice. We love that. Well, we have some questions here. If you don't mind, I would love
Sure.
you. One of our viewers would like to know, do the cows take baths?
Take baths? No, they do not actually. They do not take baths. However, we do wash their feet off. When they exit the robot, they walk through a little foot bath, which you didn't get to see, and it washes off their feet to keep them nice and clean, so we keep them nice and healthy. But that's about the only bath that they get here.
Okay.
They really stay a little bit more clean. When they used to go out in our old barn, I didn't talk about that. You went out to pasture twice a day. Went out to the pasture, and if it rained, they got to lay down in the mud and roll around, which is all fun and games. But they come back in the barn, they're all messy and dirty, and you have to get them all clean. When they stay in here, they're a lot drier and a lot cleaner. They stay a lot more healthy here in this barn.
Okay. One of our viewers would like to know if the cows eat apples and if you have a favorite cow.
I do have a favorite cow. So I don't own every cow here. My dad and I own several, and then the farm owns some. I do have a favorite cow. Her number is 8025. She's just really curious all the time. Anytime I walk through the barn, she's always looking at me like, "Hey, Riley, what's going on, man?" Anyway, it's really funny. And if she doesn't need to be milked, she'll actually find me and she'll be like, "Oh my goodness, Riley's in the barn. I need to come behind him and go in the robot, but no, it's not your time to be milked." And it's really funny. I really like that cow. But apples, I've never fed a cow an apple, but I'm sure if you put it in front of them, I'm sure they would just eat it right down. As curious as a cat, that person never met a cow because cows are so curious. All I have to do is open up a gate or put a new person in the barn here, and they're all moving their heads, just wondering what's going on.
Aw. Well, a viewer named Braylon would like to tell you that he thinks you take very good care of your cows. And we have another question, and this one is about snow. And they would like to know if the snow affects the cows.
So here in Tennessee, we don't have a whole lot of snow. It maybe snows once or twice a year if we're lucky, get a snow day out of school or whatnot. But so here that does not affect the cows as much. The cows love the cold weather. They love it so much. But snow doesn't affect the cows. It does affect our farming, though. There's a lot more work to do when it snows around here. We have some frozen water pipes, or the milk truck driver can't get up the road. When you have a snow day and you're all excited, Riley's all bummed out and not very excited because he has more work to do.
Yes, I know you guys have so much work to do. One of our viewers would like to know how early, what time do you have to get up to go to work on the farm?
So in our old barn, we had to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Yes, 2 o'clock. That's super early. And then actually at 2 o'clock in the evening, you had to start your evening chores again. So you didn't get a whole lot of sleep if you were by yourself. And that's why we had to have those 5 employees working there. But here in the robot barn, we actually get up at 6 o'clock. My dad gets here about 5:30 in the morning, and I get here at 6, and we begin our breeding on the cows and all the health, make sure everybody's nice and healthy. And then we work on feeding the cows then and whatnot. So I actually get here about 6 o'clock. But it's a little bit different with the robots. You can really, I don't want to say make your schedule because there's so much to do during the day. You need to be here early. But if someone wanted to sleep in and get their work done later in the day, they actually could. Or if they wanted to get here at 4 o'clock in the morning and get everything done, they could do that too.
That is great. Well, Riley, I know that you're going to now head to our next destination for the tour. And while you do that, we are going to let our attendees take part in a fun little activity for your farm. Okay, so we'll see you when you get out there.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So while Riley heads to the next destination, we are going to ask for your help to name their robots. Riley had shared with us that originally they wanted to name the robots, but just, they do have a lot of work to do on the farm and kind of never got around to it. And so we want to hear from you. You can type your suggestions for the robot names in the Q&A section of Zoom or in the comments section of Facebook Live. And we want to hear from you. So send us your suggestions now. Now, while we give time for you to get your responses in, we asked our staff what they thought. And here are a few ideas that they had for names. This will help you get to thinking about your suggestions. Moobot was one of the suggestions. Mega Milker, Thunderspot, The Milkinator. This was one of our staff's favorite. R2 Milk 2. You could go with a movie theme because they have 3 robots. So if you wanted to go with Frozen, we could have Elsa, Anna, and Olaf. We've got Milky Way, Dairy E, the Utter Butterbot. Y'all, it's so creative and so much fun. But I know that we probably have some that are filtering in. Let me scroll down here. All right, so we're getting some suggestions here. Ruby, Wally, Betsy, Casper, Robbie, Robert, TJ, Caesar, Liz, Sticks. I mean, just so many great suggestions. Oh, Milky Way, Bob the Robot. Ooh, Cowabunga. Okay, that one's funny. Rosie, Bob the Bot. So Riley, I hear you laughing. What are you thinking about some of these names that are coming in?
Oh, you're cracking me up. That R2 A2, I think is what it was. I can't remember that one. I love that that robot name. That's hilarious. And that Milky Way, that's pretty funny too.
Yes. R2 Milk 2. I like that. I like.
Yeah, R2 Milk 2. That's really funny. I like that one the best, I think.
Yeah, they're so good. So good. There's just tons of great suggestions here, and they're still coming in. I'm sure we'll get around to them. But actually, in all of those names, there was a question that came through that I thought was interesting. So I want to ask you. This is from Romy, and Romy wants to know if cows can have allergies.
Allergies, we do not test for allergies on cows, but for sure there's some things. I'm sure every cow is different, and there might be something wrong with the cow that we may not never figure out why she felt that way. Maybe she was allergic to the type of hay we fed or something. So I can't honestly answer that question and be 100% sure. But I would, in my personal opinion, I would say a few cows have allergies, yeah, but nothing to be concerned about.
Yeah, that's not one that I've ever come across either as a question. So appreciate you weighing in on that. Now, Ms. Clemens' class, first of all, they think that you're doing an awesome job, but they would love for you to share with them, why did you want to become a farmer?
Oh man, that's a long story. I'll try to make quick. But I grew up about 150 feet from our old milking parlor. I woke up every morning and ran out to our milk truck driver who always had a chocolate milk for me. And I don't know, his name was Tiny, and he wasn't a very tiny man. And I loved farming beside my grandfather, who he's my role model. He was a very good man, and I loved farming beside him every single day here. And I knew watching him farm here, I knew from the very first second I ever saw him that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a farmer. Ever since the day I was born, that's what I was born to do, and that's what I intend to do.
Well, we are also glad that you do that. So we have a few more questions coming in. One of our viewers would like to know, can cows run?
Oh yes, they can run. Oh man, you see me chasing after them sometimes when they get out. But they'll get out of the gate and they'll go crazy. They'll be running around here in the circles, and I'll be trying to catch them running around in circles, just like playing with your dog. I'll be trying to get them back where they need to go. If your dog ever gets off the leash, it's kind of the same thing. But yes, they do love to run, and sometimes you even see them in the barn playing around with each other, running up and down the lane. But sometimes it's not so good to get traction on that concrete.
Yeah, actually, one of the viewers was asking, do cows ever get hurt, I guess, when they're running around? And then just how do you handle that when a cow gets hurt or, is sick and maybe needs to see the vet?
So of course we never want a cow to get hurt or sick, but of course it happens, just like any day to day. We get sick or your pets get sick, it just happens. So we try to monitor that the best way we can, and I learn every day how to better manage that, but we still make mistakes. So the robot actually notifies me every day to tell me what might be a little bit wrong with the cow. I might say, hey, she might be, her milk's a little salty, which measures the conductivity, and maybe I need to give her a shot to make her feel better. Or maybe she's feeling a little sore on her right leg. Maybe I need to give her a shot to make her feel better if she's like twisted her ankle or something. Or maybe she just needs a trim on her feet. But yes, cows can get hurt. We do try to take care of them the best way we can, but some things you just can't control, where the cow hurts herself.
Sure, especially if they're, feeling so good after their pedicure and buffet and their nap on the mattress, I could understand
Definitely,
getting all excited.
For sure.
How many total cows do you have on your farm?
on our farm here, we're actually milking about 160, 155 right now. We have capacity to milk up to 180, and I'd love to milk 180 very soon here. We have the dry cows. We have about 30 cows in the dry cow pen. Then I have about 8 cows in the close-up. Then we have all the heifers that are born, the little babies. And up on the ridge, we have the 6-month-olds, and then we have our breeding heifers. We've got cows spread out everywhere here. It's hard to say an exact number, but I would say about 300 cows we have here on our farm.
Okay. And
that's babies to old cows.
yeah, everybody all totaled together. One of our viewers would like to know, do you have any other types of animals on your farm?
So I've got a pet dog. His name is Silo. I don't know where he's at. There he is. He doesn't leave my side. He's always here. Other than that, I really don't. We have some cats here that like to drink the milk, and then that's about it. We do not have any other animals here. We just have our Holstein dairy cows, but we've just started doing some crossbreeding with some jerseys.
Okay. Well, I've got some more suggestions for the robot names that have come in. I want to run these by you and get your feedback. We've got Daisy, Butterball, Buttercup, the Cowinator.
Cowinator.
Yeah, the Cowman and Cow Wow.
Cow Wow.
Those are fun, right?
Oh yeah, that's super funny. We wanted to name the robots. We actually talked about doing Employee of the Month and all these things. That'd be really fun once we got the robots, but one thing leads to the other, and you're doing jobs every day, and then all of a sudden you just never got them named. So that's really funny. I might take one of those and name the robots.
Okay. Well, this is great. Well, Riley, I know everyone has been super appreciative of your time today and of the tour that you've given us there at Harmonyway Dairy. Is there anything else on your mind that you want to share with the kids watching?
For sure. So we've missed so much. We could talk all day here, but with the live, we just can't get in places, or our Wi-Fi is not working certain places, but there's so much to see here. And we just try to take best care of our cows as possible so they can be happy and produce us the most milk as possible, so everybody can get their dairy products if they want. But I'd love to do this again sometime and hope we answered all y'all's questions.
Well, thank you. And I just want to extend a huge thanks to you, Riley, and to your whole family, because, you know, you work so hard every day there just on the dairy farm. But I know it was a lot of hard work also to get ready to invite everyone onto Harmonyway virtually. So thank you for all of the work that it took to bring us this live tour of your farm today. It's incredible, and I learned so much.
More than welcome.
Okay, now I just want to remind all of our attendees that are with us through Zoom that you will have an opportunity to complete a survey after the tour today. So please, you know, don't forget to go ahead and take care of that. We would love to hear from you and you know, hear your thoughts about the tour today. Also, don't forget that at the Dairy Alliance, we are your resource for all things dairy. I encourage you to visit our website, which is constantly updated with the latest dairy research, recipes, and news. You can meet more of our incredible dairy farm families from across the Southeast. So visit us at thedairyalliance.com and take advantage of the resources brought to you by the generosity of our hard-working dairy farm families. Thank you so much for joining us. We are wishing you a dairy good day. And that's all for now.